New reaction tonight. There are some big changes coming to the White House Correspondents' dinner. You know that big shindig? I think you got to remember what happened most recently, that very offensive headline act full of insults for Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Oh, and plenty of others, by the way. Voices from both sides of the aisle. They were united in saying never again. She was that bad. And as I said, she used to be an investment banker, and I really think she missed her calling. She should have stayed an investment banker. She's a terrible comedian. And so what did they do? They said next year, no comedian, none at all. And for another break in tradition, maybe President Trump will actually start going to the dinner. This is a new tweet from him, and I quote, so-called comedian Michelle Wolf bombed so badly last year at the White House Correspondents' Dinner that this year, for the first time in decades, they will have an author instead of a comedian. Good first step in comeback of a dying evening in tradition. Maybe I'll go, question mark. Here with me, former advisor to the president, Clinton, I should say, Doug Schoen, and conservative author Kurt Schlichter. Good to see you
Good to
both.
See you, Trish.
You know, it's funny. I said the same thing. Maybe I'll go this year. Ron Chernow, he's the author, and if you haven't read his Alexander Hamilton biography, I highly recommend you do. Talented guy, and he's going to be the headline speaker. What is your thought on this, Doug?
You know, good. I mean, I thought as a Democrat that the jokes were really out of character, bad taste, and I think having a more serious tone to an evening that should have some levity and some maybe historical context will get the president to go, which is, I think, a good tradition which hopefully will be revived.
Yeah, you think he should be there?
I think he should, yeah.
Well, you know, it's nice because he's the guy that runs the White House, and it's the White House Correspondents' Dinner, so it would be nice. But, you know, I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit, Kurt, because he has taken so many jabs by the media that to then go and spend an evening with them and then maybe, you know, sit there and hear himself insulted, his daughter insulted, his staff insulted, and everyone else along the way by the likes of this two-bit comedian. And I say that because really, again, she should have stayed a banker. You know, it's not worth it. Time to change?
Well, you know, Trish, I agree with you, Trish. First of all, I prefer my comedians funny. I'm weird that way. She wasn't funny. She was miserable. And the thing is, though, I liked it as a conservative because it showed what this gaggle of nerds really thought, how petty and vindictive and nasty they are. I love it when you see people's true colors. Now they're bringing in this Chernow guy. He's going to give a nice dry speech. Maybe Trump will show up. But you know what? What's great is how in their heads Trump is. Trump is running them. They're doing this so Trump will come back. I love how they're crawling to Trump on their bellies like reptiles.
I wouldn't quite say that.
Begging him to come in.
Well, Kurt,
it's beautiful. He owns them.
I think that they would like to have him there. I think, though, that they did recognize that they crossed a line. And, you know, humor's a funny thing, right? Doug, I mean, there are comedians that when they get a little mean, suddenly it's not funny anymore. I mean, I'll give some credit to President Obama. This audience certainly knows that I'm not any fan of his and was highly disappointed in his presidency. But I'll tell you, he gave the best, most funny speeches at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I mean, Stewart, you name it, any of these comedians paled in comparison to Barack Obama.
I think that's right. And you know what? Given that one of the victims of his attack or speech or jokes was President Trump, what I've seen is that the final impetus to get Trump to run came from Obama's speech. So for those of you who like Trump, Obama is responsible in large measure.
All right, well, we'll see.
He finally did something right.
You think the president's going to go?
I think he's going to go. He loves to be the center of attention. I think he'll go, and they will treat him like a god, and it will be beautiful and hilarious, and I'm going to roll around laughing as these nerds suck up to him. It's going to be great because he lives in their heads, and I love it.